We're good.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you both.
All right, we will call to order this February 2nd Groundhog Day meeting of the Lawrence County Commissioners. Do either of you or anybody in this room know what the groundhog did today?
Saw it, shot it.
6 more weeks of winter.
So he did, okay.
That's I was gonna say that's on par for 2020, but I guess we're rolling into 2021.
Yeah, right.
But on that note, would all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Jason, would you be so kind as to lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
States of America.
to the republic
And to the
for
republic,
one nation, under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible.
and justice for all.
And all please remain standing for a brief moment of silence. Thank you. Jason, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Here,
Commissioner Vogler,
Here.
Commissioner Boyd.
Here. Look at that, off to a rock star start already. Again, I think that's because I don't know what I'm doing when I turn it on.
You can sign.
I will note that we're dealing with some echo issues. Maybe I'll turn down the master a little bit.
How are you, Jeff?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
Not too bad. You feeling better?
Oh, yeah. It's a lot better.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
Glad to hear that.
All right, that's better. I will note that we are being live streamed and broadcast through our YouTube channel. That right now is the only way the public has to participate in these meetings. It's the unfortunate reality of a global pandemic. To that end, if anyone has any public comments that they wish to make before the board, they may do so at mboyd@co.lawrence.pa.us. Send an email to that email address. If you'd be able to put the subject line public comment, and we'll make sure it's entered into the record, and I'll forward it along to my two colleagues. That email address is mboyd@co.lawrence.pa.us. Under normal circumstances, I would ask anyone that is here to speak before the board, including staff members, to there's usually a microphone at that table right there. I don't know how to turn that microphone on, nor do I know how to work the recording equipment.
Where is the microphone? Is it even here?
Yeah, it's in the background.
Oh, okay. All right, we didn't lose it.
No, we still got it.
Okay.
And so to that end, I'm hopeful that, we'll be able to pick up anything that our staff members have to present before us today on our live stream. We currently have a couple individuals out of the office taking precautions due to COVID-19, and so we're running a skeletal staff right now. And it's always fascinating that whenever you lose one or two members of your front office staff, how much you realize you rely on them to do all the day-to-day and get everything done. But on that note, we'll move on to row officer reports and comments. I'm looking around the room. No row officers are with us today. And so to that end, we'll move on to public comments. As I previously stated, anybody who wishes to submit a public comment may do so by sending an email to mboyd@co.lawrence.pa.us. Again, please include the subject line that is public comment. Fiscal and contractual. We have no advertising for bids and proposals. We do have a receipt of bids and proposals for the sale of county property owned at 3309 Wilmington Road, Neshannock Township, PA. That's the office or the house that was built to be repurposed into a magisterial office. I will note that I spoke to the controller earlier this morning, and we have received no bids for that property. And so to that end, the presentation of bids, receipt of bids and proposals is rather short today, as there are none. So we'll have to reassess and figure out a new strategy for what we want to do with regards to that office and the operation of DJ Russo's magisterial court. Any additional comments from either one of my colleagues on that?
no.
Hearing none. Fiscal reports. I will make a brief note that I've been going through the January expenditure reports for January, making note of any areas where it might seem we're going over in different parts of the budget or under in different parts of the budget. And I'm pleased to report that in the vast majority of our offices, at least the ones that I've looked at so far, everybody's pretty much coming in under budget, which is nice. but I'll have a full report probably by next commissioners meeting related to how we're doing in terms of budgetary performance. The only major area of concern I have right now, and I sent an email to prison board about it about 15 minutes ago, is that we seem to have incurred exclusive of holiday pay, $25,000 in overtime costs for the month of January attributable to the prison. So I'm sure we'll be diving into that over the next few weeks to figure out how to bring those costs back in line with where they need to be in order for the county budget not to be blown up. Report on quotes, we have none of those. We do have a warrant register from January 26, 2021. And I'll give, Loretta, do you have a copy of this packet? I believe it was emailed.
I do. I have
Okay.
it in front of me, yeah.
I just want to make sure that, but I'll give my colleagues a second to review the warrant register and before taking a motion to accept and file.
I've looked it over and I'll move to accept the warrant register as submitted.
And I will second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Warrant register accepted and filed. What the hell do I do with my agenda? Up next, approval of the minutes from Tuesday, January 26, 2021 Board of Commissioners meeting. Again, I'll give my colleagues a minute to check those over and then take a motion to approve the minutes as read or make any amendments as my colleagues may deem necessary.
I've looked them over and I'll move for adoption of the minutes.
And I will second.
Thank you both. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We do have two presentation of written communications. One is for a DEP operating permit notice for AMG Chrome US LLC, which is located in the city of Newcastle. Letter reads, Dear Ms. Boyd, as required by the 1990 Clean Air Act, this letter is official notification to the Planning Commission that AMG Chrome US is applying for the Department of Environmental Protection facility-wide air quality state-only permit to operate the facility located in Newcastle, Lawrence County. 30-day comment period begins upon your receipt of this notice. I'll note two things here. Number one, my name being Morgan, it's easy for people to misrepresent. I think I had a staff member at CYS would send me an email that said, Dear Ms. Boyd, which was an interesting one. But two, from time to time, the board receives different communications from different companies, municipalities, nonprofits, anybody doing significant construction work or industrial work in the county. Usually relating to transportation projects or NPDES permits, sometimes relating to other things, as in this correspondence. The Board of Commissioners has no approval authority over these permits. The only thing that we are required to do is receive notification from companies and different other entities that they've applied for these permits. It gives us the opportunity to submit a comment to the approval agency, which in this case is the Department of Environmental Protection. But at the end of the day, we do not have the authority to red light or green light these types of permits.
Can I ask a question real quick, Morgan? I'm sorry.
Sure.
You said AMG Chrome?
Yes.
Okay. I want to make sure that they're new, they're just coming in as according to that.
I'll give you my letter. if you'd
Okay,
like.
I want to make sure and look up for our LEPC staff, because if they notify the DEP for hazardous materials, stuff like that, to make sure we have the proper paperwork and process with them. Follow up. Thank you.
I'm glad you're here.
If I may, one thing, if you wouldn't mind, as you look into this, more often than not, when we get letters like this, they're usually very precise as far as the municipality in which the facility is located. But we've had, as you know, on a couple of occasions, not necessarily in this format, but we've had instances where we've been notified about something and they generically say Newcastle, and the assumption on their part is that it's within the city limits. And as you know, we've had a couple times where, no, they might be in Union Township or Shenango Township. Would you double check, unless you already know, just to make certain they are within the city limits? And if they're not, could you circle back to us if it's in one of the townships?
Actually, it's in Union Township.
Oh, there you go.
Does it say that?
It's French Drive.
French Drive.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's why I wanted to ask, because sometimes they'll have one name and there'll be an industrial park in the Shannick, they'll be down
Yes.
in the city, they'll be somewhere,
So
and
it
they
is-
might even be a
yes.
different name. That's why I
Yep.
was just, I hadn't heard this recently, and I just wanted to make sure, so.
All right.
And I will follow up.
Thank you. And then maybe for the minutes, if we can reflect the fact that this facility is located in Union Township.
Sounds good.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The other correspondence that we've received is notifying us, the Pennsylvania Public Utility Commission notifying us, there's been an application to the Department of Transportation, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, for the approval to alter the public at-grade crossing by the installation of new active traffic control devices where Cherry Street crosses the single track of Newcastle Industrial Railroad in Taylor Township, in accordance with the federal grade crossing program and all allocation costs, incident there too. So in other words, it sounds like there's going to be a new signal at one of the rail crossings in Taylor Township. With that being said, do we have a motion to accept and file correspondence?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion to second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Up next, proclamations and certificates. We do have one for today, recognizing the month of February 2021 as American Heart Month, and February 5, 2021 as Wear Red Day. We have a proclamation here. I'll read the full thing because it's not that long. Proclamation, County of Lawrence reads, recognizing February 2021 as American Heart Month in Lawrence County, Pennsylvania, and whereas cardiovascular diseases are the #1 cause of death in the United States, and whereas nearly half of all adults have high blood pressure, and whereas approximately 80% of all cardiovascular diseases can be prevented, and whereas risk factors for heart disease such as blood pressure, smoking, and I can't ever pronounce that word, cholesterol, can be controlled, and whereas Lawrence County residents are encouraged to commit to making physical activity and healthy eating a priority to improve heart health, and whereas the American Heart Association encourages individuals to take charge of their heart health by knowing their total cholesterol, HDL cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, and body mass index, and whereas the American Heart Association believes that every person deserves the opportunity for a full and healthy life. Now therefore be resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners that Lawrence County Board of Commissioners recognizes February 2021 as American Heart Month in Lawrence County, and February 5, 2021 as Wear Red Day. And 2, Lawrence County Board of Commissioners urges all residents of Lawrence County to show their support for the fight against heart disease and support the American Heart Association's mission to be a relentless force for a world of longer, healthier lives. Before taking a vote on this item, I'll ask if there are any comments from my colleagues.
Loretta, I'll let you jump ahead of me if you'd like.
I'm fine, thank you. We all need to take better care of ourselves, I guess, and just as a reminder that there are things that we can control and continue to be healthy. So, hey, it's February, it's the beginning of the year, let's all try to have healthy hearts. That's it.
Thank you. Commissioner Vogler?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We were contacted by Ann Coleman, who is the regional director for the American Heart Association, and I'm sure she appreciates us putting together this proclamation. And I've known Ann a long time, and if you folks don't object, I'll just circle back to her, let her know that we adopted it today.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. But on that note, I will take a motion to, I guess, proclaim February 2021 as American Heart Month and February 5, 2021 as Wear Red Day.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We'll do a roll call vote on this one. Jason, would you be willing to call the roll? Questions on the motion?
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd.
Yes. Thank you. Motion carries. And we'll sign the official document as soon as we're able to find where the official document is. Up next, staff reports. Is there any member of staff here that has any report above and beyond what's already on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on to commissioner reports and comments. First on deck, it looks like it's me. I have no comment for today. Next on deck, Loretta.
Well, of course, I always have a comment, but I must admit that, Dan, I don't know how you felt like being present at the meeting, and same thing with you, Morgan, when you weren't there. It's actually odd sitting here trying to participate the way that you're used to participating. It's very different participating via phone. You wouldn't think it would be that bad or that different, but it is. But that being said, I am at home, exercising an abundance of caution, due to the different COVID scares that we've had in our buildings and of course in our office, but wanting to continue to, participate and assist as much as I can. I have no symptoms. I feel fine, but, some people are asymptomatic with COVID. So, I just hope to continue to be healthy and be back to work in a short amount of time. Actually be back in the building, so to speak, in a short amount of time. So, yeah, that's it.
Absolutely. Well, just as with Dan last week, we certainly wish you a continued health, and are looking forward to seeing you back in the building as soon as you're able to be here.
Thank you.
And then Dan, you have anything for us?
Thank you very much. Yeah, we miss you, Loretta. It's better when you're here in person, but we appreciate why you are being cautious, and we just want you to be as healthy as you can be. Thank you, though. Appreciate your caution. And as you'll note, I'm back here after having been out for about a week and a half, having tested positive for the virus. My doctor on Friday and I spoke, and I advised him that all of my symptoms were gone, with perhaps one exception, and that is I still have a fair amount of fatigue. And he advised me, or I should say directed me, to come. He said, it's all right for you to go back to work, but I want you to work half days for a while until your tiredness dissipates. And I did that yesterday, and I mentioned to Morgan this morning, I got home yesterday afternoon, and sure enough, I needed a nap. And I have a feeling I'm going to need one today too, but the worst is behind me, and I want to thank my colleagues for carrying on. I know there were a couple meetings I had to miss, and I appreciate that you folks handled them. And also want to thank Solicitor Medor for all he's been doing to help us out as well. So we just want everyone in the county to be as safe as they possibly can be. And hopefully as we see the vaccinations continue to roll out, we'll get ahead of this thing. And the day will come when we won't have to wear these any longer. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Absolutely. It's certainly good to have you back with us. And I'm glad that the majority of your symptoms at least have subsided.
Thank you.
With that being said, we'll move on to new resolutions. First on deck today, we have a resolution from the District Attorney's Office. Actually, this is probably more accurately a Commissioner's resolution. Just the reason it's listed as District Attorney under this is because the attorney who submitted it actually works for the District Attorney's Office, but he's also the Assistant Solicitor for the City of Newcastle. And so to that end, I'll relabel this if neither one of my colleagues object as Commissioners.
No objection.
All right. And what this resolution does, I don't know if you remember, a couple months ago, actually Resolution 2020-210, we allowed for an easement on county property, which will allow the City of Newcastle to complete or at least proceed with their Riverwalk project. The project itself consists of numerous parcels of property along I believe that's the Neshannock Creek, most of which are owned by the city, one of which I believe is owned by the county. And to that end, the city needs our permission to make alterations or to access it to complete that project. And so we allowed for that previously. However, I guess there was a little discrepancy between the city of Newcastle, ourselves, and the Department of Transportation with regards to this deed. And so to that end, we have to amend it to allow for that project to continue to allow the city of Newcastle to access what is county property. So unless there's any objections, questions, or concerns, we'll make that resolution 2021-25. Hearing no questions or concerns, so done. Up next, we have from Director Baldwin a resolution for discussion and possible approval to enter into an agreement with Southwest Behavioral Health Management effective January 1, 2021 through December 31, 2024. Scott, what do we have going on?
Just sit here.
Yeah, you're fine there. Actually, it's probably better there because the mic is there.
Yeah, good morning, Commissioners. This is a renewal contract between Lawrence County and Southwest Behavioral Health Management. Contract will be in effective from January 1st, 2021 through December 31st, 2024. This is a nice contract because there's no cost to the county. Southwest Behavioral Health Management is funded entirely through Health Choices dollars, which are provided through the Department of Welfare. And just a quick overview of what Southwest Behavioral Health Management is. Lawrence County, along with 8 other surrounding counties, contracts with Southwest Behavioral Health to help manage our Health Choices dollars. And their role is to act as a liaison between the counties and the managed care company, Beacon Health Options, just to ensure that those Health Choices dollars are being used appropriately.
The Health Choices dollars, that's effectively public funded insurance for individuals with mental health issues or drug and alcohol issues. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And that's, like you mentioned, provided through the Department of Public Welfare. The county does not pay for our ability to tap into Health Choices dollars to help provide care for our residents that might have those types of issues.
That's correct. Thank you.
Questions or comments from my colleagues?
None.
Just to make certain, this resolution does indicate that this would be subject to final review by the solicitor. And since he's here, I guess I'll ask him if you had the opportunity, Mr. Madore, to look this over.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're fine?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Absolutely. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to do the back end here. It's usually done by by Vanessa. Approve.
I didn't realize you're taking notes on this. I just looked over and realized you're doing that.
Vanessa keeps and Chris keep a log of all the resolutions that we pass throughout. So that way, if they ever need to find something, they're able just to quickly flip through, see the dates and time. And so I'm taking over for that today. Riverwalk project. Although my handwriting is much worse than hers. Easement 26. Agreement with Southwest Behavioral Health. MHDS. All right, we'll make that resolution 2021-26. Scott, you're welcome to stick around for the vote. I don't see any issues with the vote going through unanimously. You can go take off.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Scott.
Always a
Scott.
pleasure seeing you.
Bye, Scott.
Thank you, Loretta. I feel better.
Up next, we have Director Parrish with Public Safety for 4 resolutions relating to our operations. It looks like some different grants, some other stuff going on. Jeff, we'll start with, and correct me if I'm saying this wrong, Vihos.
He actually, I say Hoss also, they say house. I don't know. So,
That's because we're Irish.
yeah, I guess. Thank you. And I apologize. There's 4 of them. Of course, as you guys know, I've been on for the past 2 weeks, so they sort of sacked up, but I know you miss seeing me, so. And I miss seeing Loretta. She's not here to harass me on them, so. Sorry.
It's difficult to do it in a delayed motion and actually not face to face, but I have to agitate.
I know. I'll stop and look in your window on the way home tonight, so.
There you go.
Yeah, okay.
There you
Thank
go.
you. BIHOS, this is just a professional agreement to enter with, back during the election time, we had Mr. Randolph, Bob Randolph, come in to help whenever the voting system went down or whatever, just due to different issues because of with other people being gone. And also, they're the company that we utilize to put in our to assist Jim with our virtualization server. This is all his brainchild, and he's the one that's been helping Jim on the fly whenever we need him. We just wanted this as a backup. We had no. Now that we're up and running on, not full force on it yet, but since we're starting to operate in stages on it, and if we ever need his assistance on it, I want to make sure he's covered. And of course to pay him. I mean, he's done everything right now, and he's worked a lot of hours for us and hasn't sent us a bill yet at all. He's not going to back bill us or anything either. But this is just something that we wanted, so in case we do need some more expertise or some more help from him, that he is and he's covered. We don't really want anybody messing with our systems that have liability or any type of contract with them or any type of agreement. So that's what this is for. It's not, it's a 2-year agreement. But again, we may go the whole year and not utilize any of it. We may pay them for an hour, or we may not do any. So it's just so that we have them covered.
Great, thank you. I also note that whenever we did have to call him in for help on election day, to solve some of those election issues, he didn't hesitate. He was here in an hour. Which I thought was phenomenal on his end.
Yeah, so he's a good guy. He is. He really is. So. Okay.
All right, we'll make that resolution 2021-27. Is there any objections, questions, or comments from my colleagues?
I'm fine.
Aye.
All right, up next, we'll make this 2021-28. This looks like a grant. Jeff, what do we have going on?
Which one is it, may I ask?
Oh, this is the Hazardous Material Response Fund.
Okay, that's
Act 165.
Yeah, our Act 165 or HMRF. This is just a yearly grant that we do. We put a resolution in. We apply every year. It's more or less a stated amount. It says it's a grant. We apply for Act 165 is this money that we utilize for hazardous response, which would be equipment, training, different things like that. We actually have to have a plan on how we spend the money. It's just not, we just get the money and spend it for anything. We can't use it for personnel or anything, but we utilize it for training. A lot of the funds of this that we've utilized has been, last year we entered into a contract with Bucks Community College that we have they have a training program. There's different tiers, and we utilize a lot of this that we can put on training county-wide, and it's a 3-year program. So the majority of this funding will go to that. The leftover stuff will go to some of our hazardous materials response equipment, supplies, different things like that we utilize throughout the year. And thank God we don't run a lot of hazmat calls. We don't do a lot of that stuff. A lot of stuff is billable to the agency that has the incident. But this is just for the preparedness and the response that we can have. We utilize some of this money also to do inspections and vehicle repair on some of our vehicles that are hazmat related. We can't use it on everything or the building and stuff like that, but it's a limited amount. We try every year, and like everything else with the state, they don't give us more. We always try, but this has always been, and of course this is from July 2021 to 22. So we spend the money before actually the money that we'll be spending through this is the money that we just actually received to find, the deposits from this from last year also, so.
Gotcha. And we'll make that resolution 2021-28.
Okay.
Up next, 147.
Okay, Act 147 is a RERF, Radiation Emergency Response Fund. We utilize this. Not every county in the state of Pennsylvania receives this funding. We are one of few just because we are a host site or we assist with Beaver Valley. Mercer County, as close as they are, they do not receive any radiation money the same way. You have to have be in the response area of a power plant. This money, again, we utilize for training. We utilize to calibrate a lot of this money goes to the calibration of our radiological equipment that we have. We have a radiological response trailer that we keep in our facility right now. North Beaver Township actually does the hosting for us at Mohawk High School. That's the reception center. If anybody comes in, Red Cross sets stuff up to house people there. We do radiation surveillance and decon at Mohawk. This money also, like I said, we use it to do the training and to get the needed equipment. So, and again, it's, thank God the power plant is still in operation. This was something that, this money would have went away if the power plant ever closes. But now that they have a new operator and stuff, they still should be in business for a while. So this pays for that. We also utilize this money to pay for some of our, a portion of it goes to our resource management software that we use. So we can use bits and pieces of it for that. We also have some funding in there for radiological officers for training that we're required to have a radiological officer. So we put some money in there not to pay somebody. We used to, years ago, Joe Senko and Mike Banco, God rest his soul too. He was worked at the power plant. They were our radiological officers that we actually paid them a per diem. We had a contract with them that we used through that. We have not utilized anybody since Mike's passing. Chad does a lot of that stuff. We have a couple other ones that we can pass that on to. So we use a little bit more of that money for training and equipment.
Okay. We'll make that resolution 2021-29. Any questions or comments from my colleagues in either one of these grants?
On the second one, just to clarify, and it's stated in here, because Jeff, you were referencing power plant. Just to be very clear, this is the Beaver Valley Nuclear Power Plant in Shippingport, Beaver County.
Yes.
We obviously have other plants in the region, either coal-fired or gas-fired, but this specifically deals with the nuclear plant.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Absolutely, thank you. And then finally, we'll make this 2021-30 agreement to enter into settlement document with Direct Energy. What do we have going on?
Okay. This was not our fault. This was something that happened when we changed electrical companies and providers. Every couple of years, we renew our rates or review our rates and review our providers with Eric Ryan's help, and they've been great. We've actually saved a lot of money in the past year or so, and even this year, dropping another, replacing our carrier or provider. What had happened, and we did not realize this, they actually had sent the bills to the wrong building. We left one carrier, one provider to another, even though we still have Penn Power. This is for, and whose name is on this? I can't. Direct Energy. We moved from Direct Energy to another carrier this year. There was a lapse of time in between whenever we moved from one to the other. They had never followed up and sent us a bill or anything, but we never received anything. So here they had sent it. This actually came from a collections agency. They were sending it and billing us to our Mill Street address. And we never found out till the controller's office called us several weeks ago and said, what did it? We had no idea. So it was from a year ago. So now we're just into this. We were owed $1,000. They said we owed over $1,000 for was a half a month, like 20 days or 15 days.
Is this the roofing company? Or what was the?
This is where we used to be down there on Mill Street, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I remember getting a call about this a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
And Dave was confused as hell, and I thought we
Yeah.
owned a roofing company.
519 South Mill Street.
Yeah.
We had leased that facility. The commissioners let us lease that facility because it was secured. It was big enough to keep our stuff in. As we left, we had to move out of where we were at before because other owners were coming in. But anyhow, that was it. We had everything set up there. We'd not realized that had happened.
Yeah.
So yeah. So actually we owed $1,000 some. Collection company, we negotiated with them and said, hey, it's not our fault. We do know we need to pay, but we're not paying a full amount.
Yeah.
So this was for a settlement of $600 and some. Fran had sent it to Jason for his review to make sure. And the only reason we needed to do this was because we don't have an account with them anymore. Penn Power won't pay them. So we just need to do this.
Okay.
It's
That is what it is.
So, yeah.
Jason, you're good with that?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. We'll make that resolution 2021-30. Any questions, comments, concerns from, actually, we'll start doing this because you guys can't kind of look at each other right now. We'll start just calling names. Loretta, any questions, comments?
No.
Dan?
No questions.
All right. That's everything for public safety today. Jeff, you're free to head back to LEOC if you wish. I don't see any issue with any of these approvals. I will note, we do have a budget amendment today where we're transferring $105,363 from our contingency fund into capital improvements specific to paying that bill that came in relating to one of your projects. So we'll get you the account numbers on that so you're able to pay.
Okay. that'll work. Yeah, and that takes care of that contract, and just for, that was for the radio project altogether. This closes it out. This is the last change order that we've held for 3 years till they fix everything. So,
All right.
okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jeff. Take care.
Thank you. See you, Jeff. See you. One of these days, it's more stuff to do.
Up next, we'll make this resolution 2021-31. This is an appointment or a reappointment specifically of James Ferris to the Lawrence County Airport Authority for a 5-year term commencing on June 1, 2020 and expiring May 31 on 2025. Mr. Ferris lives in Neshannock Township, currently serves on the Airport Authority. He was first appointed in 2015. I will note I talked to him last Thursday most recently, and he's very excited to continue the work that they're doing up there. They've got a group of guys up there who are very progressive in their approach to the airport, looking at modernizing the facilities, looking at approving some additional runway space. And I know Jim, who is the current chairman of that board, is one of the guys leading the charge on that. I can also say, as a guy who started flying recently, that they've done a phenomenal job with the upkeep of that airport. I haven't crashed the plane yet, which really is saying something. I did bust a wheel, but that's another thing. It wasn't at our airport, it was in New Philadelphia. Any questions, comments from Loretta?
No, I'm fine with that.
And Dan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No, Jim has done a wonderful job up there, and he takes his role very seriously, and I'm glad he wishes to be reappointed, and I'm glad to be able to support it. I do want to note, and I have not had an opportunity to tell either of you, but yesterday I had received an email from a gentleman in the southern end of the county who expressed an interest, and I called him and I got his voicemail, and I advised him that for this particular position that there was already a consensus to reappoint Mr. Ferris. I suggested to this gentleman that there could be future openings, and that I would let him know when that possibility would come up if he wished to apply at that time. But I did want to make it clear to him that it is the desire of the board here to reappoint Mr. Ferris. Thank you very much.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I had an individual contact me yesterday about the same appointment at the Airport Authority. And I effectively relayed the same to her, that in the event that there are future openings for the board, that she would be able to apply at that time. But our consensus was to reappoint Jim.
Good.
But we'll make that resolution 2021-31. Up next, we'll make this resolution 2021-32. This is an amendment to our collective bargaining agreement between the county of Lawrence and our AFSCME, our union, which represents numerous departments under the Board of Commissioners, the treasurer, and the controller. This specific amendment relates to some changes that we made or preliminarily made in the salary board at the beginning of the year, which allows for positions to be created, including a children's service navigator, a mental health complex care coordinator, and an ID specialist. As both Joe and Scott noted at the beginning of the year, these changes actually result in cost savings to the county because we're able to offset these salaries or portions of these salaries to our health choices dollars. Questions, comments from, we'll go with Dan first this time.
No, I'm fine. I'm interested to see if Loretta has any, because she has dealt more closely with AFSCME than I have. So, but I'm fine.
Loretta?
And I'm fine as well with it. I know that, again, Jason is probably taking care of everything that we need to do as far as AFSCME goes. And these changes that are made are definitely going to enhance the services that we provide to the clients that are in need of the services, from, you know, the children's services end of things through the mental health programming. So definitely steps in the right direction to continue providing the services that we do. Yes.
All right, as mentioned, we'll make that 2021-32. Up next, 2021-33, another contract amendment, this time with laborers, which represent, in this specific contract, court related offices, which include the pathonetary, the district attorney, the sheriff, the public defender, and I believe that's it for laborers, the court related contract. But this specific amendment again relates to changes, to the preliminary changes that we made at salary board. This allows for the hiring of a paralegal position in the district attorney's office and the creation of a co-responder position specifically for the crisis grant, but that falls under the DA's office in collaboration with our mental health services. Questions, comments, concerns from Loretta?
None here, thank you.
And from Dan?
As long as the solicitor's okay, I'm okay.
Yes, I'm okay with it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And again, I'll note this is the county of Lawrence, not the count of Lawrence on the top.
Missed that.
Although I wonder if we have the authority to make counts.
I don't know.
I think we probably do somewhere. Up next, we have a series of budget amendments. Good news, bad news, and indifferent news on each one of these. The first, which will make resolution 2021-34, is a budget amendment increasing appropriated fund balance by $200,000 and then increasing transfer to operating reserve by $200,000, and then it does some stuff in the operating reserve fund just because we're moving money in between different funds. It creates sort of a domino effect where a whole bunch of stuff has to be adjusted. This is due to the fact that we actually had more money carried over from last year in 2020 moving into 2021. And so we're adjusting our budget accordingly to allow for that money to be deposited into our operating reserve. Questions, comments, Dan?
I'm fine, thank you.
Loretta?
Fine here as well.
All right, we'll make that 2021-34. 2021-35, this is the bad one. While we did have more money in our general fund balance than we had anticipated, we had significantly less money in our children and youth services fund than we had anticipated. So what this does is this decreases our appropriate fund balance line item, revenue line item in children and youth services. It increases county contribution to children and youth services by $325,000. We're taking that money effectively out of the operating reserve transfer. Questions, comments on that?
None here.
None here.
All right, 2021-35. And finally, this is what I was kind of had that sidebar with Parrish about earlier in the meeting, 2021-36, another budget amendment. We were hit with sort of a surprise bill relating to the completion of our radio project that had been previously undertaken by the Department of Public Safety. That bill amounts to $105,363. What this does is this flows money from the operating reserve, actually specifically from the general fund to the operating reserve to our capital budget, which allows us to pay for this line item. This closes out the project. There are no more costs associated with the project. Questions, comments, Dan?
No, thank you.
Loretta?
None.
All right. Again, that'll be 2021-36. And I will take a motion to amend the agenda to allow for voting on resolution 2021-25 through 2021-36.
I'll make the motion.
I will second.
The motion is second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Now for the vote-a-rama. Resolution 2021-25, now to be resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners, to sign a deed of easement to grant the use of the portion of the property described in such deed and waive the right of compensation for the transfer. Again, this relates to the City of Newcastle River Walk project. Do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Good motion is second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Jason, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd.
Yes. Thank you. Motion carries. Resolution 2021-26, and that's to be resolved. Lawrence County agrees to enter into this agreement with Southwest Behavioral Health Management, subject to final review by the county solicitor. Do we have a motion?
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion. Jason, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you. Resolution 2021-27, now therefore be resolved by Lawrence County Commissioners, that authorization is hereby given to execute on behalf of Lawrence County Department of Public Safety all documents related to VIHOS service agreements and network and support service support at a rate of $120 per hour, and desktop and PC support at a rate of $100 per hour. Chairman of the Board of Commissioners authorized to sign all documentation. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion. Jason, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd.
Yes. Motion carries. Resolution 2021-28, now therefore be resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners that authorization is hereby given to execute on behalf of Lawrence County Department of Public Safety all documents related to the Hazardous Materials Response Fund Grant Application and Grant Program for a period of July 1, 2021 through June 30, 2022. Do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
The motion is second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion. Jason, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd.
Yes. Motion carries. Resolution 2021-29, now therefore be resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners that authorization is given to execute on behalf of Lawrence County Department of Public Safety all documents related to Act 147 Radiation Emergency Response Fund application and grant funding for grant period of July 1, 2021 through June 30, 2022 in the amount of $7,392. Do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
We have a motion is second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion. Jason, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd.
Yes. Motion carries. Resolution 2021-30, now therefore resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners that the settlement document dated the second day of February 2021 is the entire agreement by and between the said parties. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion is second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion. Jason, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you. Resolution 2021-31, now therefore resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners that James R. Ferris, Neshannock Township, be appointed to a 5-year term in Lawrence County Airport Authority effective June 1, 2020 through May 31, 2025. Do we have
Could I just split a hair? Could you please say James Ferris Jr.?
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, James Ferris Jr.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Because you're right, there is a James Ferris, Senior also located in Neshannock Township.
Thank you.
Absolutely. June 1, 2020 through May 31, 2025. Do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion. Jason, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd.
Yes. Motion carries. Congratulations to Jimmy. Resolution 2021-32, now that be resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners. Parties intend to be legally bound to agree to revise Appendix A of the existing AFSCME CBA to include the following positions: 1, Children's Service Navigator; 2, Mental Health Complex Care Coordinator; and 3, ID Specialist. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
The motion is second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion. Jason, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd.
Yes. Motion carries. Resolution 2021-33, now that be resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners, that the parties intended to be legally bound to agree to revise Appendix A of the existing laborers CBA to include the following positions: creation of paralegal position, DA's office, creation of co-responder position, along with their accompanying salaries. Do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion. Jason, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd.
Yes. Motion carries. Resolution 2021-34, now that be resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners to amend the 2021 Lawrence County budget as follows: increasing general fund appropriated fund balance revenue account by $200,000, increasing general fund transfer operating reserve account, expense account by $200,000, increasing operating reserve transfer from general fund revenue account by $200,000, increasing operating reserve contingency expense account by $200,000. Reason being excess funds from 2020. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion second.
Second.
We have a second. Question on the motion. Jason, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd.
Yes. Motion carries. Resolution 2021-35. Now that be resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners to amend the 2021 Lawrence County budget as follows: decreasing operating reserve transfer from general fund revenue account by $325,000, decreasing operating reserve contingency expense account by $325,000, increasing general fund transfer to CYS account expense account by $325,000, decreasing general fund transfer to operating reserve expense account by $325,000, decreasing CYS appropriated fund balance revenue account by $325,000, and increasing CYS transfer from general fund revenue account by $325,000. Reason being there's less funds from 2020. Do we have a motion?
And I'll make the motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Jason, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd.
Yes. Motion carries. Last one, resolution 2021-36. Now that be resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners to amend the 2021 Lawrence County budget as follows: decreasing general fund commissioner contingency expense account by $105,363, increasing general fund transfer to operating reserve expense account by $105,363, increasing operating reserve transfer from general fund revenue account by $105,363, increasing operating reserve transfer to capital expenditures expense account by $105,363, increasing capital expenditure transfer from operating reserve revenue account by $105,363, and increasing capital expenditures 911 LESC machinery and equipment expense account by $105,363. Reason was an unanticipated 911 capital expense. Do we motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion second. Is there any discussion here? None. Question on the motion. Jason, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd.
Yes. Motion carries. That concludes the vote-a-rama. Jason, special thank you to you for your willingness to jump in and help us out today.
Anytime, I'm happy to help.
Appreciate it. No resolution portion is done. No ordinances on the table for introduction or for final action today. Announcements. We have next regularly scheduled commissioners meeting for 10 a.m. on Tuesday, February 9th, 2021 in this meeting room.
I have something, but when you're done.
Okay. Only other thing I was going to say is have a safe and happy and healthy Super Bowl weekend. As much as I don't like Tom Brady, I got to root for Tampa just because we have our treasurer's brother is the safeties coach there. So Rich, I don't know how you got me again, but you managed to have me rooting for the team that Tom Brady's on. On that note, Commissioner Vogler.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I apologize because I meant to mention this during commissioner comments, and I'll have some more detail next Tuesday. I did want to note that the Pennsylvania Election Law Advisory Board, to which I had been appointed last year, held their first meeting this past Thursday. It was a Zoom meeting, obviously, and ran about an hour and a half, but rather than take any more time today, I'll next week give a little synopsis of the meeting, and then possibly between now and then I may know a little bit more. So just wanted to enter that into the record, and I thank you.
Absolutely. Very interested in hearing what the first conversation of the board was.
Thank you.
Anything additional from you, Loretta?
Nothing here.
All right. Again, if anyone has any public comments to make, they may do so by emailing me at mboyd@co.lawrence.pa.us. That's mboyd@co.lawrence.pa.us. Please include the subject line public comment. We'll make sure it gets into the meeting minutes and is forwarded along to the board committee, the other members of the Board of Commissioners. That being said, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll move for adjournment.
Second.
We have a motion second. Is there any discussion? If none, question on the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Lawrence County Board of Commissioners is adjourned.
I'll wait for you to do your thing. Because if I went over there, I'd break it.
Oh, I'm pretty sure we broke it 5 or 6 times at this point.